Hey guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rise. I'm back here at Subaru Port Richey, also known as Loki Subaru, because guess what? You have asked, and I'm here to deliver. We're going to compare two very special Subarus, the 2020 Forester against the totally redesigned for 2020 Subaru Outback. Both of these are at the touring trim level, but let's talk a little bit about Subaru history. So Subaru's been around in North America selling cars since 1968. It was a gentleman by the name of Malcolm Bricklin who brought Subaru to North America. Fun fact about Malcolm Bricklin, he actually came up with his own car in the 1970s called the Bricklin. But since that time, Subaru has really laid down the law when it comes to all-wheel drive, capable vehicles that are gonna have great safety, and of course, at the end of the day, when you go to resell them, great resale value. But with these two, the Forester and the Outback, have been in their lineup for so many years, and as the industry has changed, they have really fallen into their own, because not only with the Forester being an SUV, but with the Outback being a lifted wagon, this SUV craze is really doing well for Subaru and these two. But let's go ahead, compare the Forester touring trim against the Outback touring trim and see what's right for you, your budget, and your family. So let's go ahead and dive into the Forester. Now, right off the bat, you're gonna notice that this was redesigned for 2019. It is sitting on the global architecture. Same thing now for the Outback, but you'll see with the daytime running lamps, full LED daytime running lamps, this is something that is a brand recognizer for Subaru, the way that it wraps around the outer portion of the housing. Inside, of course, you're gonna get an LED headlight. I like the way it's blacked out. We come down, a little bit of nice body line going into an area that could be a little bland, but they added some flavor. I like the chrome trim around the lower fog lamp housing. And you know what? This little guy right here is a fake vent, but I'm only gonna give it a half a zonk because look at how small it is. 8.7 inches of ground clearance. Really thought it was super smart the way they use a lot of flat black here, because this is gonna hit brush and whatnot as you're going to your favorite camping spot. And then of course, that grille shape, unique to the Forester, but still has the overall size and dimensions of that brand recognizer for Subaru, besides obviously that iconic logo. I like the flat black horizontal slots. Another part that I like is the way that they went with the flat silver. It really gives some character. Now, as we come onto the hood, you'll see very distinctive lines on the Forester, very sharp corners, and then you have a middle section that is raised almost the whole length of the hood towards the windshield. This to me really just screams Forester. They did a great job with the hood. Now on the 2020 Outback, you can see with the headlight design, there's those daytime running lamps that go around the whole perimeter. Of course, you're gonna also get LED headlights in there. It's blacked out just like the Forester. They're a little bit smaller than the Forester, a little bit more aerodynamic, I guess you could say. Here is a controversial part in the new design. So instead of having the round fog lamps, we now have these rectangular ones. It doesn't bother me as much, and I know that Subaru needed to take the design somewhere, but I could see how some people would be missing those nice large round ones. Now, as we come across the front, all new grille sitting on the new global architecture, just like the Forester. So I like the flat silver, horizontal flat lines here, some more horizontal, but they did the same thing, just like on the Forester. They went flat black with the silver, gives it a nice distinctive off-road look. You're gonna get that same 8.7 inches of ground clearance and that same wonderful symmetrical all-wheel drive. Now, as we pop onto the hood, the body lines are not as sharp. A little bit lighter on the corners and a little bit lower up center, but you know what? Still, it looks like an Outback. But why don't we go ahead, take a look at the sides and the backs of these two Subarus. All right, guys, so time to take a look at the side of this 2020 Forester. Like I said, when it got a redesign for 2019, it's now sitting on the global architecture. Little things like this I like to see. Look at how Subaru puts the Forester name inside the headlight design. We come down to our wheel and tire setup. So what you're looking at is a mostly machined aluminum wheel with some gloss black. For me, the wheels are a little bland, and I am gonna zonk it. I wish Subaru would do a little bit more to kind of spice up the wheel, and I think that it would really just change the look of the vehicle in a great way. But this is gonna be an 18-inch wheel. Overall, nice dimensions. You're looking at 225 on the width, 55 series sidewall. I like the way they take the flat black. That really is gonna help protect the fender, but also gives it more of a rugged look. You'd be surprised, these Foresters are very off-road capable. As we continue down the side, here's a little tip. If you're wondering if the Forester or the Outback or the Ascent is a touring trim level, you don't have to go look for an emblem. Right here, these brushed aluminum silver covers for the cap, for the side mirrors, that is a dead giveaway that this is a touring trim level. I do like how Subaru, of course, is always going to have those roof rails up there, and it's not too high. I'm 6 feet tall, and it's at a pretty good height. Little bit of brushed aluminum with the roof rails. You got the shiny chrome around top and bottom, and then another touch that I think really adds some extra style to it is that lower portion down there being flat black, and also the silver. Not only does it match well with what's going on in the front of the car and the back, but it just gives it a little bit more oomph to stand out from the sea of SUVs that are out there. As we work our way back, I think for Forester, they did the quarter window perfect. I wouldn't want it any bigger. I wouldn't want it any smaller to help keep that more boxier shape to the Forester compared to the Outback. Now, as we come around the bend, I am going to zonk the taillights. I'm not really the biggest fan. It almost looks like Honda Accord stapler design, but it, you know, they're LED, which is really nice, and I do like the low roof spoiler. As we come down, there's our touring badge, nice tasteful badge. You have a lot of flat black here. This is gonna take a nice beating as you're pulling that camping gear in and out. And then my other zonk is, what is that? Why did they just put a single exhaust tip on this Forester? If anything, tuck everything nice and high and up out of the way, or give me two. This is touring trim, give me two, because if you look, hello, there's no exhaust there. So it would have been nice to have the two. We are ready to go towing. You could tow your camper or you know, small boat and whatnot, very easily done with that symmetrical all-wheel drive. Love the badging. Let's go ahead though, check out the Outback and see what's different for 2020. All right guys, time to take a little trip into the Outback, around this Outback, all new for 2020. That global architecture, like I said, it's more rigid and it's gonna give us more room. This Outback is actually wider and longer than the outgoing 2019 Outback. Now, when we get to the wheel and tire setup, I'm gonna zonk it again. A little bland, a lot of machined aluminum. This time, instead of the darker black, we have a metallic gray. I am thinking that it was super smart though to keep the trim, and you can see just how much flat black is on the side up front here compared to the Forester. This is gonna help take a better beating from the brush, the pieces of wood and whatnot that might fling up as you're going off down that trail. But very, very clean all the way around. As we come down, oh, before I forget, this is also an 18-inch wheel. So comparison, same basic overall setup, 18-inch wheel to 18-inch wheel. As we go down the side, one thing that's very unique about the Outback is look at how this trim actually folds out and flows into the side mirror. Nice touch. Remember what I told you? What does this mean? Yes, you're right. This brushed aluminum mirror cap means that this is a touring trim level. You got the shiny chrome bit all around the top and bottom. Little bit of shiny chrome also on the door handle. What Outback would not have roof rails? I really like the style. Very, very rugged look. Get those crossbars from the accessory catalog and you're ready to put the canoes, bikes, whatever. Down low, you have a very distinct look to the Outback. This is something that if you look at other Outbacks, very, very similar style that they brought into the redesign. And I'm so glad that they kept the Outback name near the rear wheel like that. Just, I like the touches tying in the past with the new. They did a great job with the quarter window. Very nice, comes to a wonderful point. You can see how the back kind of flares out. And then once we get to the back, I really think they did a great job here. Long, low roof spoiler, digging the taillights, LED brake lights, love the design. I like it better than the Forester. Of course, you're gonna get that symmetrical all-wheel drive. As we drop down, this is what I was telling you. We don't need an exhaust tip. I know there's a muffler under there, but they tuck everything up out of the way. The only thing that I wish they would have done something a little bit better here was this. Just get rid of these two ribs. I think that just, I don't know, it just attracts your attention there where it shouldn't. So I am gonna zonk that, but you do get the all-wheel drive badging. There's your touring badge. Very clean look, and also that same bumper protection as you're taking that gear with the flat silver to just make a nice package from front to side to back. Let's pop the hoods of these two Subarus and see what's powering them. All right, guys, we got the hoods popped on these two Subarus. Both of them have a boxer engine. What that means is that the pistons are horizontal and they're slapping back and forth like punching gloves. That's what it would look like if I could show you inside one of these as it's running. But the great news is underneath both of these hoods is the same engine. It's a naturally aspirated, so that means there's no turbocharger, 2.5 liter flat 4 engine. Because of the flat engine, you have the engine sitting lower in the chassis. That's going to lower your center of gravity. You're looking at 182 horsepower, 176 pound-feet of torque for both of these. 0 to 60 is a little sluggish, around 8.5 seconds, and towing capacity is around 1,500 pounds. The Forester weighs in around 3,500 pounds, and the Outback is going to weigh in around 3,700 pounds. Both, though, with a CVT transmission. I think that's been probably the weak link that upsets people, is they would rather have a different style of transmission. Now, with the Forester, you do get an engine cover. It's tasteful, but what's nice about the Outback is you could see all the inner bits, and as a car guy, that's what I want to see. The alternator, I want to see the AC compressor. You can see how the oil filter is up top rather than underneath. Both of these have a prop rod, which I am going to zonk that. I wish they would both have hydraulic struts, but why don't we fire these up and see if they sound any different. All right, guys, we're in the 2020 Forester Touring trim level. I know you're probably wondering, well, Joe, let's get down to the nitty gritty. How much is this? MSRP for this one, the way it's optioned, is around $37,000. You're gonna be amazed though. If it's been a while, if it's been since 1998 that you've been in a Forester or an Outback, these are gonna blow you away. To the door panels, get ready to be blown away. I love the way they broke up the color with the darker black material, but also with that wonderful brown leather. I love the contrast stitching, soft material at the top of the door panel, and then you're gonna have a large pocket down there for your drink, your iPad, your Nook, a book, a bag, whatever you have. A rag you need to put in there, great space. Soft material, stitch work is on point. Brought some of that brown in. I think it's very, very smart to take that from the door panel to the dash. And then I really dig with what's going on with the actual infotainment system. So you have a smaller cluster up there that you could toggle through all sorts of information, which is really great. And as you can see, we get our weather, keep going, you got your navigational stuff, stereo, range. As we drop down, this is that 8-inch Starlink system that Subaru is known for. They have made major leaps in how good this looks, how fast it reacts. Of course, you're gonna get Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. You don't have to pay extra for that. I like the silver trim. You got chrome around the start-stop button, which is a nice touch. And then, of course, you're gonna have easy-to-use climate control. It is dual climate control, very nicely done. Little bit of a cubby, I'm gonna zonk this. I would like to see wireless charging, but what I'm not gonna zonk is you got plenty of connectivity. You got 12 volts, USBs, and an aux jack. This is going to be controlling that CVT transmission. Leather, the stitching, even here the leather it's so soft. Like the little brushed aluminum pieces here to kind of separate it. We have silver, nice touch. Heated seats, but no ventilated seats. For $37,000 Subaru, we need ventilated seats in this Forester. You have your X mode controller for snow and dirt, snow and mud. That's really going to take the parameters of how the engine and steering and everything is going to help you not get stuck in those sticky situations. 2 cup holders, Subaru's universal key fob. It's a great looking key fob, makes sense. It's got a great weight to it. I do like it. A little another cubby here for a bag of Lay's, and then nice soft armrest. Lift it up, you have a little coin tray here, or you could put some of those breath mints from when you're out on your first date or a blind date. To get to the rest of it, you got to pull it out, and you have a 12 volt in there, and then you just got to place it back. Nice, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Seats, I love the perforated center. You know, I'm not really the biggest brown and tan interior, but I like the material in here. Really soft to touch. Power on both sides, which is smart. And then you're gonna get basically a sunroof and a half. It's like a mini panoramic sunroof. So not only people up front can get their vitamin D, but people out back. We have an auto dimming frameless mirror, which is a wonderful touch. And then of course you're gonna get the revised eyesight system. This is probably one of the best pieces of safety tech in the car industry. And what's wonderful about it, it does not malfunction because of getting dirt on the windshield, because you could just clean the windshield. When you have your radar and sensor stuff for lane keep assist and emergency braking, that stuff could get covered up with dirt. Not with the Subaru. Get on over here. I want to show you the business end behind this Forester. All right, guys, on the Subaru Touring trim, you are going to get memory seat settings, 2 memory seat settings, which is really nice. And like I say, with the electric assist, I'm 6 feet tall. I got plenty of headroom. I could grow another 5 inches and still be very, very comfortable in here. Steering wheel, the thickness is perfect. I love the contrast stitching, the nice silver trim. They really raised the bar. It is a little button heavy, but once you get used to it, it's not a big deal. You have a heated steering wheel. You also have all your cruise control and all the functions, very easy to get to. Paddles on the back. Now I know this has a CVT, but it is simulated gears on the back of the steering wheel. And then a very tasteful dash. I like the way they went analog on the tach, analog on the speedometer. You do have that information display in the center there, which is very wonderful. And this also has SI drive, so you could actually change the parameters of the engine and also go into the different modes in X mode to help make sure you don't get stuck. This thing is gonna have you covered from A to Z. But why don't we go and see how the passengers are gonna be loving this Forester. All right, guys, back time. This is really the best part of the Forester, is the back seat. Tons of room back here. With that squared off roof, it's gonna give you more headroom. Check out how thoughtful they are for your passengers, how Subaru really thought about them. You have nice pocket here, nice pocket there, and then watch this. That's smart. You got a spot so that it doesn't get lost in the pocket. Where's my phone? Oh, okay, there it is. Little command center, 2 rear ACs. You lift this guy up right here. We got your USBs, heated seats, but no ventilated seats. I wasn't expecting ventilated seats, but I'm still gonna zonk up front. I want ventilated seats. These rear passenger seats though are just as comfortable as up front. Look at this nice armrest, 2 cup holders, and just look at the trim, the silver with the gloss black. Looks like $1 million. Very, very wonderful setup. Why don't we go ahead and check out the cargo area. All right, guys, time to check out the cargo area. You're gonna just press the button. Up she goes. It's actually on the quicker side. And then you can see the amount of space that we have here. I'm gonna lift this out of the way. They really have taken into consideration who's gonna be using this type of vehicle. I love on the side, you got your 12 volt. You're just gonna pull that and the seats flop right down. Speaking of flopping, this little cargo security thing is in the way, but there are the seats totally down. This one has the upgraded Harman Kardon sound system with the Touring trim. That's your subwoofer back here, but very, very spacious. You pull this up, you have some storage space, which is really great, nice and clean. And then you pull this up, it's like unwrapping a gift. What's next? There's your spare. So they're not gonna just give you a can of Flat Fix and say, hey, good luck, and say a prayer for you. They got you covered over at Subaru. Push that button and close it. But why don't we go ahead and get over to that guy? Let's check out the 2020 Outback. All right, guys, time to come inside the all-new redesigned 2020 Outback. I know you're probably saying, well, Joe, I like the Forester over there. Does this really bring the heat, the competition for the Forester for the price? Well, MSRP on this particular Outback is right around $39,000. So you're looking at close to $2,000 if you're counting the pennies between that Forester Touring and this Outback Touring. Remember, this isn't the XT. If you go XT, that's gonna push it above 40. But let's see what you're getting with the totally redesigned Outback. Same thing as the Forester. They brought the brown leather, but for some reason, I'm liking the door panel on the Outback more. I like that dark silver trim. I like the way they split up the brown, and I really am digging the contrast stitching, soft touch everywhere. Of course, you're gonna get also the Harman Kardon sound system. The pocket's a little bit smaller down there, but you know what? I'm okay with it. I like the style better on the 2020. Now the dash is really clean. Look how flat it is. Nice soft touch. They brought the brown leather with the same stitching. This little guy right here, if you're into king size candy bars, that's all for you. You could probably take about 2 or 3 possibly king size Snickers. Maybe you might have to eat a half of one and just put it all in there for your journey. This really is where they knocked the ball out of the park, grand slam. 11.6-inch infotainment system. Now let me show you how to use this. You actually have a top portion up here that's actually going to scroll through all sorts of information. You have your navigation, and then this bottom portion is for your AC controls. Heated and ventilated seats. So if you want your butt cool, you're going to have to go Outback, because you're not getting that in the Forester unless you sit on a bag of ice. You do have the wonderful leather all the way around. Start stop button conveniently placed. We have a nice little pocket here, 2 USBs and an aux jack, but I am going to zonk this. This is not wireless charging. I would like to see that at $39,000, wireless charging. Same CVT transmission. You do have a button here where you could go into different camera views, so you could pull right away your camera view out the back on that 11-point-inch screen. You also could get into your X mode. So instead of having a knob that you got to fumble with, you could go right into the touchscreen. I know it seems cumbersome now to use the touchscreen, but as you drive this, you're gonna love it. Especially the AC controls are very easy to get to. And you don't always have to go into the buttons on the screen. You could use the physical buttons for actual temperature. Now, as we work our way back, that nice leather, 2 cup holders, same key fob. Like I said, it's a universal key fob. Nice touch by Subaru, great weight. Love the armrest, perfectly padded. You got a tray here for your breath mints, so your girlfriend's gonna wanna kiss you. And then you got a nice little felt lined area, another 12 volt, and all other information stored right in there. The seats, look at this, Napa, this is the proof. You want proof? We got it right here on this tag. Napa leather, love the brown, the stitch work, same power adjustable seats as the Forester, same soft feel, touch, and great look. And you're gonna go a little bit small on sunroof. So on the Forester, you had like a sunroof and a half. This one is your standard sunroof, people in the back. No vitamin D, you're gonna have to eat your vitamin D gummies. But why don't you come over to the business end? Because I'm telling you, there's a bunch of great stuff going on for 2020 with the Outback. All right, guys, business end, just like the Forester, you're gonna get your 2 memory settings for the driver's seat. I'm 6 feet tall. Now, there is a little bit less room, obviously, because of the way the roof line is with the Outback compared to the Forester, but you are gonna get that updated eyesight technology and also the auto-dimming frameless mirror. Steering wheel, same exact steering wheel, same buttons. You got the paddles for the simulated gears, heated steering wheel, of course, and then the dash has that analog tachometer, analog speedometer. One thing you don't have that the Forester has is, of course, the SI drive, which was easily changeable by the buttons on the steering wheel. But other than that, I love the placement of everything in here, and I really am loving this 2020 Outback. Let's check out the back seat and see how your passengers are gonna be loving it. All right, guys, back seat time. Now, you are gonna be giving up a little bit of headroom in here as well, but on that global chassis, it's really not that much, I promise you. Now, what I do like about the Outback is that it's black on the backs of the seats. That's gonna help if you have people with sticky fingers and, you know, eating their PB&Js, getting stuff all over the place, easier to keep clean. Only one pocket, so they don't love you as much in the Outback, I guess. We're not giving you all those different types of pockets, but you do have the rear AC, same 2 USBs, and same heated seats. Speaking of the seats, very comfortable. Let's do the armrest test. Great height. I love the cup holders, but you could see how they didn't go as fancy with the cup holders in the back seat compared to the Forester. But why don't we go ahead and check out the cargo area and see how much room you have in this Outback. All right, guys, cargo time on the 2020 Outback. We push the button, electric assist goes up. You can see the amount of space that we have with the Outback, and you're gonna have those same great handles that you pull, and the seats just flop down effortlessly. Watch this. You can do it with one finger, the one finger test. Nice. Almost totally flat. You do also get your 12 volt hookup, and you also have like a little cargo cubby over there. That's where I would probably hide like the small box of those little powdered donuts. You know, those Hostess powdered donuts? You could probably hide a couple of those in there so that the kids don't get to them. You can enjoy them while you're getting the groceries out. But why don't we go ahead, let's get to the best part of both of these. Let's take these 2 for a spin. All right, guys, we're leaving Subaru Port Richey. We're in the 2020 Forester. If you're wondering, well, what are MPGs for this? You're looking at around 26 in the city, 33 in the highway. Looking out that large windshield is a snap, and I promise you, the way that they got the eyesight technology now, it's like it's not even there. It used to be a bigger unit when the technology was older, but now that they have the new 2.0 version, it's nice, slim, and trim. You don't even see it. looking out the back window, I'm telling you, I don't know many SUVs that have a rear window that size, but it's very, very large, easy to see out of. I like the placement of all the instrumentation. I'm gonna go back to my Zonk. Especially living in Florida, I'd rather have the ventilated seats than the heated seats. I mean, it's nice that there's heated seats, and I know that sometimes we have those cold days where it's like 50, but right now, even though it's October, I want some ventilated seats in this Outback, in this Forester. We haven't gotten to the Outback yet. Another thing that I think is smart, when it comes to the blind spot warning, they actually have LED lights that are on the inside edges of the mirrors instead of the actual glass. They're nice, bright, and large, and easy to see. So that's a nice touch as well. And I think that extra instrumentation cluster is really, really great to see out of, and see all sorts of information from your fuel range to the weather to whatever you want, which is a nice touch. When it comes to navigation, it's through TomTom, so the graphics aren't the most clear, but hey, I've seen worse, and for Subaru, they've come a long way when it comes to their infotainment system setup. Other than that, it's really, really hard to find a Zonk area. I guess if we're gonna go into actual driving characteristics, the CVT kind of kills it for me. I wish that they would actually develop some type of automatic to have in here, but let's see acceleration. I'm gonna slow down a little bit on throttle. Like I said, you're not gonna win any drag races, 0 to 60 in almost 9 seconds. And then of course you get that usual high RPM drone that you normally get from a CVT. One thing I've noticed that with the Subarus, it's not as loud as, say, other brands like Honda. All right guys, another acceleration with a lane change. This is where, you know, I miss the XT. I miss the XT trim on the Forester. They do have a Forester Sport, but remember, you're not getting any extra power from the Forester Sport like you did on the XT. But overall, the ride is very smooth, very controllable, and of course, with that symmetrical all-wheel drive, it's going to keep you safe, it's going to keep you planted. And speaking of safety, you have 5-star plus safety rating on this Forester. So if there's any question of whether you're going to make it out of a wreck in a Subaru, yeah, you will. These things are really, really built well. And if you look at, as they keep bringing the newer chassis out, like with the Outback, that's 2023 safety standards, not just what we currently have. All right guys, we're gonna go ahead and make a U-turn, and then I'm going to get on the loud pedal to show you the acceleration once again on throttle. So you have the simulated gears. It helps make the driving feel like a traditional automatic, but you're still getting that loud RPM sound from the engine because you don't have any gears with a CVT. Other than that though, I think that the Forester really brings a lot of value for the money. And if you're the type of person that's liking to go on adventures, there's really no better vehicle than a Forester. But we're gonna go ahead and get back to Subaru Port Richey and swap seats and get into that 2020 Outback. So I'll see you in a split second. We're rolling out in the 2020 Outback on throttle. Same exact engine, same horsepower, same CVT, same slower acceleration. So if you're looking though, what's nice with the Outback is you can go the XT trim route, which is gonna give you that 2.4 liter turbocharged engine, 260 horsepower. And I'm telling you, I know it's not about drag racing a Forester or an Outback, but it is nice when you get on the loud pedal and you got some get up and go that you could get out of your own way, which is a nice touch. But driving this 2020 Outback, sitting on the global architecture, rides so nice. I really think that I'm enjoying more having the flat dash rather than that extra gauge pod like on the Forester. I definitely love that 11.6 inch infotainment screen. I think the way that they blended it perfectly into the dash, so clean, so crisp, and once you figure out how to use it, it's not complicated whatsoever. driving down the road, very smooth. Road noise has been lowered, and I also like the seating. The seating in both the Forester and the Outback is very spacious and feels really good. I just wish there was, you know, just a little bit more headroom for the passengers in the back seat, but that would kind of kill the lines of the Outback if you had a higher roof line. One thing that I'm definitely enjoying are the ventilated seats. I think that having the ventilated seats at this price point is a necessity, is a requirement, and especially here in Florida, it feels great. You guys making a U-turn in the Outback on throttle. Same simulated gears. Now for 2020, they went 8-speed automatic instead of 7-speed, so you're getting an extra simulated gear in there. I think probably one of my favorite things about the CVT, like I said, in the Forester, is that it doesn't drone as loud at that super high RPM. And the simulated gears, they feel real. They really do. I think the best part of both of these would be to take them off-road, because that's really where you can show the full capability of any Outback or Forester. But I do like the driving position better, and I just like overall the feel of being in the Outback compared to the Forester. But definitely visibility is better in the Forester, especially out the back window. But hopefully this gives you a little bit overview of both. I know a lot of you have wanted this, and that's why we brought it to you. So we're gonna go ahead, get back to Subaru Port Richey and wrap this one up, so I'll see you in a split second. All right, guys, been another wonderful day here at Subaru Port Richey. Definitely gotta thank Larry, Spencer, Montel, Tony, the rest of the crew, getting these two 2020 touring trims of the Forester and the Outback. Which way should you go? If it was my money, I'm going Outback. I love the new dash setup, the infotainment system, and I really like the proportions of a lifted wagon compared to the Forester. But you know what? For overall headroom and space for all the family members, that Forester isn't too shabby either. Bottom line is, get here and take both of these for a spin. But if these are the types of comparisons that you want to keep seeing on Rady's Rides, leave a comment in the comment section. If you're new to the channel and you're on your way out, hit the subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile coming back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Rady's Rides family. If you want to help us keep making great content just for you on the channel, click the link in the description, get yourself some Rady's Rides merch. Got to give it up to Big Guns McGee. I'm asking not just for one Subaru, but two. He made it happen. He's drenched, but he's ready for more. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.